Alright, I'm going to show you a pocket survival kit that I made. Here I have this Maxpedition bag. It's all stuffed in. This is bigger than the Altoids kits that are pretty popular, that you see a lot, quite a bit bigger. Here's a fairly nice commercial kit that you can buy. You can see the size comparison there. This weighs about twice what that weighs. There's a lot more in here though than there is in the commercial kit. My philosophy is if you're going on a trip, you don't just have a survival kit and boom, I don't have to think about survival stuff anymore. You got to think about the weather, where you're going, the other type of equipment you're going to have with you for what you're doing, how many people are going, how remote the area you're going is, that sort of thing. Look at maps, know your environment in case you get lost, that sort of thing. So it's not a one size fits all. It's not an easy button, but having something like this with you ready to go, something you can just grab and stuff in your fanny pack or your backpack or your car for the less extravagant adventures that you might be going on. Having this ready to go increases the chance of you having what you may need in those types of situations. So let's look inside. So before we go inside, this green thing you see here is a roll of duct tape. It just fit nicely on the outside. You know, this has this mesh pocket on the outside, so I was able to move at least one item from the inside to the outside. You can tell this is stuffed pretty good. So anything I can get on the outside, the better. Okay, so here's what we got inside. Got a couple tools. Have a basic Swiss Army knife. This has got the metal on the sides. It's a little heavier than I want it to be, but it's what I had. It's not a knife I use a lot, so to be able to put it in here and not miss it, it's a great knife. I thought about putting something like this in there instead. This is a Doug Ritter knife. I believe it's specifically designed to fit in these Altoid boxes. It's a neat knife, you know. It's a fixed blade, got a full tang, I guess you could call it. It seems pretty solid, but it's just not comfortable for me to use. I'm afraid if I use this in a situation where I wasn't at my best, I could injure myself or get more fatigued than I need to. This actually goes around your wrist to give a little support. So it does work, it is functional, but I just feel much more confident with the Swiss Army knife. So I got that tool in here. I got a little flashlight in here. These are great little flashlights. It's called a Nanolight by Streamlight. I'm not sponsored by them. It's pretty bright. They don't last forever, obviously, but this is a mini kit, a mini survival kit, and you obviously want to save batteries, but having eyeballs in the dark can really save your butt. So I throw that in there just to ease myself if I have an overnight stay. So if you're in a survival situation, well, your kind of your classic first priority is shelter, right? But also you have to make sure you take care of any first aid needs, and you really would like to shorten your survival experience as much as possible. So you should have some sort of signaling or something like that with you as well. So let's start with the signaling stuff I have in here. I have a signal mirror and a rescue whistle. Not all whistles are created equal. I buy the one specifically for rescuing and communicating because they're really loud, a lot louder than just regular old whistles. I don't have much of a first aid kit in here. I just have a little packet of Band-Aids and some alcohol and some cleaning pads. Hopefully keep the infections at bay a little bit. Okay, so let's go to shelter. Shelter, I got two kind of shelter building things in here. I have 75 feet of 100-pound test fishing line. As you can see, much more compact than 75 pounds of 550 cord. 100-pound should be sufficient for building a little one-man shelter and handling other tasks that you may find cord is useful for. And I have a Mylar blanket. Help keep you warm, help keep you dry. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. So those are the main shelter building things I have. Also, I'll go ahead and throw fire into the shelter category. When it comes to fire, I've got a thick lighter. I like to practice primitive fire making, but if I'm in a survival situation, I might just want to use my Bic. Ferro rod, pretty good sized ferro rod. And I went ahead and threw a striker in here just because I have these strikers and they're pretty low profile, and it's just one less thing to worry about. I could use my knife, I could use something, some kind of rock, a piece of glass or something, but it fit, so I threw it in there. I also have some tinder buried deep in here, but I'll have to get that out in a minute. So kind of throw that in the shelter category. Fire. Water. I live in Texas. Water is a big deal. So here's my water system here. I have some water purification tablets. Each one of these squares here have 2 tablets, and each tablet treats 0.75 liters of water. So I probably have 2-3 days of water here, supply here. But I need to have something to sterilize, some sort of container to sterilize the water in. I should have a water bottle with me, but this is trying to make this a self-contained kit. So what I have here are these 2 water bags. These things are kind of neat. They stand up when you fill them with water, and they're actually sealed, so the inside stays clean, and it also doesn't fill up with air when you're folding it up and trying to jam it in your survival kit. So what I do with these is I mark off 0.75 liters, so I get the appropriate amount of ratio of water to tablet, I guess, to make sure I don't undertreat my water. I put the instructions on the bag, so I don't have to remember. They're not on the tabs. And I have 2 bags, and I got them numbered. 2 bags, I can treat twice as much water, or maybe I want to use 1 bag as like a pre-filtering bag. Let the nasty stuff settle, and then pour it into this bag for the treatment with the tablets. And I may pop a bag and rip a bag, so that's why I have 2 bags. You know, the water's no joke, so having 2 bags, all the space. A lot of survival kits just put one single Ziploc bag in there. I try to do a little more, just be a little more on the safe side. And I also have some rehydration salts. Get some electrolytes back in you if you do get dehydrated. Dehydration's a big deal out here in Texas. I've seen it happen. I've seen these things really work some wonders. So you got shelter, water, fire. Now food, the least important item you should have to worry about, and I actually have quite a bit of stuff left in this kit for food. That's because it fit. That's because I play with this kit, and I need to keep myself from getting too bored, so I like to go fishing. So when it comes to sustenance, I got quite a bit of stuff here, and some of this stuff does do double duty as well. So I have some trapping wire here, which can be useful for more than just making traps. You can use it for making shelters or tools or some sort of camp crafts, putting something back together. So got some trapping wire. Then I have a bunch of fishing line. So what I have here is I have 100 feet of 12-pound monofilament fishing line. That's mainly thinking about the smaller fish and the smaller creeks around here. 100 feet is probably more than I would need, but that way I can maybe do some passive fishing, set up a couple different fishing spots, or if I get some tangled or caught up, or a fish runs off with some of my fishing stuff, I got backup. And then I have the 65-pound line here, which also could double as cordage for everything you need cordage for, sewing, if I had to sew something back together, and for fishing bigger fish like catfish. So this is more tailored to my area where we have a lot of catfish. Catfishing is a great way to get calories, and I'm most successful with passive type fishing, setting up drop lines and trot lines and that sort of thing, and coming back and checking on them periodically. So 100 feet, I could probably use more if I had more. I could probably find uses for more. So to complete the fishing kits, then I just have the essentials here. I've got all kinds of different hooks. I got big hooks. Whoa, I don't want them all to come out everywhere. Big hooks for catfish. And then I got medium and small hooks for other kinds of fish. I probably don't need to open this up. You can probably see that good enough. I have sinkers and swivels. You can find natural sinkers, use rocks and stuff, but hey, the less stuff I have to mess with out there, the better. And then the swivels are really helpful for the catfish because they'll roll and mess your stuff up. So I have a couple bobbers, a couple floats, more for the panfish or for making some sort of underwater rig where the trying to keep the bait suspended above the bottom of the river but below the surface of the water. Trash is everywhere. You could use bottles and stuff, but the less stuff I'm monkeying around with, the better. Doesn't weigh much. And then I have a bunch of artificial bait stuff here. When it comes to panfish, usually natural bait I found is the best around here. But maybe I don't have time to catch it. Maybe I'm having trouble finding it. Something's better than nothing. So I threw that in so I could rig up, hopefully find some the magic combo that pulls the fish out of the water, keep me from getting too hungry. I guess this could have gone in with the tool stuff. A little button compass, help with keeping yourself from getting more lost, or maybe you have a panic azimuth, a direction you can walk and you'll run into some sort of civilization or help or rescue, so you have that to help you keep your bearing and not walk in circles as people tend to do when they're lost. And that is it. That is my pocket. Oh no, I didn't show you. That's right, I was going to show you the fire thing. The tinder I have hiding in here. So this can save you a lot of time, frustration, and calories. It's not having to deal with tinder, especially if you're in a less than ideal situation. So I threw this thing in my pack. I haven't practiced with them as much as I'd like to. I usually practice with less. This thing puts out a pretty good flame. So I don't tend to practice with this a whole lot, and this is why. You just fold up a little, put that on, you get a nice big flame. You could definitely get less than ideal kindling going with that thing. And this will light with a ferro rod as well, not a lighter. You can light with a ferro rod or a lighter. You blow it out, cap it off, and use it again. There's a lot of fires in this thing. So there's a little fire kit. So that is my pocket survival kit. Thanks for watching.